Keanu Pace, King Yada, Solomon, Latoya, Lee, Linda, Luann, Edwards, Luther Hines, Maya, Megan, Mikhail, Arden, Olivier, Robert, Rosef, Fernandez, S22, Sean Shea, Snazzy O, and X-Man. Appreciate y'all for coming through today. D Saul, you can go ahead and get it, bro.
Appreciate that warm welcome, bro. Let me exit out of this. Yeah, man, I've been knowing my guy Jordan for a little second now, bro. We instantly connected after we found out we had the same major, graduated from the same college. Man, that's one of the smartest young guys I know, bro. I actually learned a lot from the young cat, man. So I'm glad you can have me on, bro. It's an honor, actually. Again, man, I'll pick back up on a little bit of what he said. Man, I've been doing this money management credit thing since 2015. And that's when I started my company, Living Free Financial, basically just trying to get everybody to live free, right? To get away from what they don't want, right? Whether that's that 9-to-5 job, right? To be able to create other ways of income, whether that's real estate, whether that's using your own credit and so forth, man. That's what I kind of made my name from. Back in 2019, I got my real estate license. And since then, I've been a full-time real estate agent, helping people buy, sell, and invest in real estate all over the country. Actually, I'm licensed in Louisiana and Florida, Mississippi, but I've been doing business in Georgia, been doing business in Colorado, Cali, Texas, man, all over. So I can help any and everywhere. And also, man, if anybody is interested in becoming a real estate agent, I help people become agent, bridge that gap, man, because it's a very lucrative career and anybody can do it. For most states, all you need is a high school diploma. And I'm sure most of us have that, or a GED. So why not, right? You can be an investor in real estate, or you can just help other people invest in real estate. So today, man, we're going to be talking about, man, this Zoom screen got to go. Okay, there we go. Today we're just gonna talk real briefly about debt. Debt is boring as hell, I ain't gonna lie, so I won't spend too much time there, but it is important. We're gonna merge over to talking about budgeting and a key strategy that I like to use when I budget. We're gonna go into talking about credit, right? I'll give you guys a couple of steps, a couple of easy ways you can instantly boost your credit just by applying for credit builder accounts and things of that sort. And then we'll talk about home ownership. And for those who are interested in buying a home, I'm going to go through 10 ways, easy ways for first-time home buyers to buy a house. We're going to talk about it, man. I like interaction, man. So feel free to, man, kind of butt in, ask questions. I love answering questions. It helps me flow smoother. So don't feel bad for just kind of wanting to ask a question. I'm always game for that. Anybody have any questions before we hop in?
Yeah, check the chat. Maybe every couple of minutes, bro. Somebody asks, do you train out of state for real estate?
Yes, indeed. Yep. So we'll talk about that closer to the end, but if anybody else is interested in stuff like that, what I do is basically, you got to get licensed, right? If you want to become a real estate agent, you got to get licensed. So what I'll do, a lot of the tests are national tests. So what I do is I'll send you all of the notes that I took when I did it, right? Give you the courses that I recommend. And then after you get licensed, I help you out anything you need, whether that's scripts, role play, whether that's how to, get your database set up, how to start getting business, all of that. So yeah, man, hit me up after this and wouldn't mind helping you get started training for that real estate, Latoya. Said, what do you think about the bill? Okay, so I'll check this momentarily as I'm going through. I'll take little breaks, open it up for questions, and then I'll come back and check these, right? Jordan, if you don't mind, bro, if it start getting a lot, give me a heads up and I'll stop what I'm doing to go answer a few questions, all right?
Gotcha.
All right, bet. Appreciate that, man. So we're gonna hop right on in. Gonna talk about debt. Man, I got to get this screen out of the way. How can I get this little chat screen gone, bro?
You can it's a button that'll say view options, I think, and you can like hide the little control panel for the Zoom. Or you can just move it over to the side or something.
Yeah, I just moved it. That's cool. I usually use Google Meet. Zoom better though. Go back. Hold on. Here we go with this. Excuse me, y'all. Back to debt. There we go. All right. So debt, man, as we know, debt is anything that you owe, right? That can be loans, that can be credit card, that can be old collection accounts, that can be anything that you sign as a promissory note that you'll pay back, and actually you have to pay it back, right? The key to this whole thing in life, and what I say to getting over the edge and separating that wealth gap for all of our generations, is to be able to minimize the debt and increase the assets, right? We want to have more assets than we have liabilities. Like if you buy into real estate, right, that's asset. Like the cash that you have in the banks, asset. Anything, anything that has value, right? Stocks, bonds, like all of that trading that Jordan teach you all about, all of those are assets, right? We want to be able to have more assets than liabilities. Why? I mean, obviously for the cash flow reasons. And when we go to lenders for those big money purchases, right? Whether we want to buy investment properties, we want to go buy this high price car, we want to go get that black car, all of those different luxury items that we want to apply for, they're going to look directly at our debt to income ratio. Right. So they're going to look at how many assets we have, how much money we have come in, and those numbers need to be significantly higher than our debt. So be sure, guys, when you guys are applying for things, to keep your debts low. I know we have to pay that card balance, so auto loans and things like that aren't really considered assets because it depreciates as soon as you get off, come off the lot. But make sure if you have those type of loans, right, make sure you stay on top of those payments and keep that principal going down each month. Right, and steady add more assets to your portfolio. It don't have to be big real estate items. Let's get anything. If you own a business, that is actually an asset, right? Start small, start where you are, and start building more assets and more income, and start reducing debt. Have any questions about debt? And one good way to reduce debt, if you have like credit card debt, is the Snowball Method. And I'll briefly kind of explain how that goes. Let's say you have 3 credit cards, okay? All of them have $1,000 limit, and the highest card that you have has a $800 balance, one have a $500 balance, and one have a $200 balance. The easiest way to pay those credit cards off is to start with the highest one first. Got cut out. Start with the highest, the one, whatever has the highest ratio first. So you can really start with the one that has the lowest balance and make the minimum payment on every card except for that one, right? So let's say you have a $50 minimum payment on one card and you have a $25 minimum payment on the other 2 cards, right? We want to take the one that the $50 balance, and we're gonna pay that $25 on both of those 2 cards, and then we're gonna pay that $50 balance. The one that has the $50 balance, we're gonna pay that one. We're gonna pay as much as we can on that one until we pay it down. It's called the Snowball Method. And once you pay that one down, now you only have 2 cards, right? Anybody want direct a system on how to do that, just hit me up one-on-one and I'll send you a guide on how you can do that. But it's super simple for anybody to have a ton of credit card debt they want to pay down and don't necessarily want to do the debt consolidation route. Any questions about debt? Okay, good debt. That's a good question. Good debt versus bad debt. All right, good debt. A real estate purchase, right? This is something that you have to pay every month. So it's actually a bill in a sense, but it appreciates over time. So for instance, I sold a lot of my clients' houses in 2020, right? Yes, they have a $1,700 mortgage note that they have to pay every month, but one of my clients, I just did a home value report on him, and he already has $25,000 equity in it. That's in 2 years. So yes, he's been paying $1,800 in mortgage every month, but that debt that he has is also creating an asset for him. And now at any given time, he can cash out $20,000 because he's built that equity over the years because of the real estate market. That's an example of good debt. Bad debt would be like a car, right? It doesn't really help us in the long run. As soon as you buy that car, it depreciates in value, which means as soon as you drive it off, it's worthless, right? So those are the debts that we have. It's good because it can help build your credit, but it doesn't help you as far as the future goes. Hope to answer your question. Do you recommend doing balance transfers to pay off credit card? Yes, I do in a lot of cases. Make sure you read the fine print. A lot of new credit card companies to win your business, they'll let you know, hey, if you transfer your balance, you'll get 18 months with no interest, right? Make sure you read the fine print, because a lot of times what happened is if you don't pay off that balance that you transferred over in those 18 months, then they'll go back and back charge you all of the interest for the whole balance. So yes, I do recommend it, but be very careful and make sure you ask all of the questions and make sure you read the fine print. If you feel very confident that you can pay off the balance that you transferred within that given time that they're allowing, I suggest doing it, because you get a 18 months interest free basically. So definitely do recommend it, but make sure you read the fine print. Any other questions before we move on to budgeting? All right, cool. Do this. I'm gonna go to budgeting. Budgeting. Everybody hates the word budget. I know, but this is the hack. This is a life hack. So how you can kind of start gaining ahead, right? Like Jordan talks a lot about trading, right? If you had a secure budget and you know exactly where your money is going and coming at all given times, then that will help you have the peace of mind to start doing that trading, right? If you know that you have $1,500 of bills each month and you make $3,000, right? You'll be able to say, okay, all of my bills are paid in this instant, and I have this amount of money left over, right? What I teach all of my clients is being able to have a threshold for things that we like. Right? We all like to go have a good time. We like to go party. We like to go have nice dinners. Let's incorporate those things in our budget. And I'm going to show you a 50, 20, 30 budget chart that I created that helps with that. Right? But knowing where you're going is key to being able to come up financially, right? If you know you have an extra $500 each month, right? And Jordan just told you about this new trade, this new, I don't know, strategy that you can use, you'll be able to know exactly without even thinking that, hey, I have $500 left over to take advantage of this thing Jordan is telling me to do. So having a budget is a life hack to being able to come up with, savings goals, right? If you want to go on a trip next month, right? It's easy when you know where your money is going and coming. If you want to plan a super big family trip next year with your family, right? It's easy to know if you know you have $1,000 after bills are paid each month, how much of that money you can allocate towards that trip. So having a budget is a secret life hack that a lot of people don't take advantage of. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about the 50, 20, 30 budget rule, right? The 50% of your take-home pay, right? So however much money you make in a month, right? After they take out taxes, that's the amount that we look at. Half of that should be for what I call must-have expenses. These are expenses that you got to have to maintain a quality life. This is your shelter, like rent, mortgage, things like that. Food, electricity, any of those things that we feel is necessary, right? 50% of your income should always be must-have expenses, right? Try not to have over, if you have over, if 50% of your budget goes towards that, if over that, then you probably need to reassess how much you're paying for food, how much you're paying on your electricity bill, and so forth, okay? 20% of that should be going towards money-making expenses. These are what I think are things like debt payments, right? If you have credit cards and you have a minimum payment that you have to pay every month, right? Those payments shouldn't be more than 20% of your take-home pay, right? And if you have a little extra from that 20%, this will help you learn how much you can trade with, how much you can send to retirement, how much you can put in your savings account and things of that for. 20% of every paycheck, or if you go by monthly income, 20% of that income should, in my opinion, go towards money-making expenses such as savings and debt payments, okay? 30%, right? A big chunk of your money should be money that you enjoy. I do believe in having a budget, having a space for things like, okay, if you like gambling, if you like going to the strip club, if you like going out to eat all the time, 30% of your income should be what I call me expenses. Now, this does include things that aren't necessary like cable, right? Your phone bill, gym memberships, Apple Music, Netflix, all of that goes into this me expenses, right? So if you do have a little wiggle room in Netflix and accounts like that, then you can feel very comfortable going to spend this amount of money each month on dinner or hanging out with friends and so forth. So 30% of your income should be things that you enjoy. 20% should go towards savings and money making activities, and 50% are essential expenses, like things like where you live, things eating and things of that sort. Any questions about this 50-20-30 budget chart? Oh, we had a question about equity. When you pull equity from your home, don't you have to pay it back? It depends. It really depends. In some cases, you take out what they call a home equity line of credit, which basically you're taking out a line of credit based on the equity of your home. So in that same example that I mentioned earlier, when my client had $25,000 equity, he would be able to take out a loan based on that equity. So he'll be able to get out a $25,000 loan. And of course, yes, he'll have to pay it back. Now, there are situations when you get into the real estate investing lane to where if you have enough equity built up, you can do what they call a cash out refinance, right? That means you'll be able to pull out all of the equity in cash that you've made and be able to refinance that loan based on what's left over, right? With that, you will have to pay taxes on it, but that's a way you can kind of take out some equity without necessarily having to pay it back. Hope that answered your question. So what's the current maximum loan to value? Yeah, that's going to depend on a lot of different things. That's a question for a lender, Jordan. That's why he asked that question. It's no way for me to know just straight up. It's a lot of things that go into that, like your DTI and a lot of different things. So those maximum LTV, unless Jordan, you got a more general answer that you want to say?
Well,
No
I
idea.
know because I did work in that space. But I didn't know if anything had changed over the past couple of years. But typically conventional was 80. But they started doing that refi now program through Fannie, right? That allowed a 85% LTV depending on the income. So it is a lot of different ones. And VA, you can go 100%. So if you're a vet or if you're a widow of a vet, then you can pull out 100% of the equity in your home in the form of a refinance cash out.
Yep. There you go. That guy right there know everything. I'm telling you, that boy, expert at everything, I feel like. But those are things that I typically recommend to a lender to be able to kind of crunch down the numbers on that. But yeah, man, equity is a big thing. Equity is a lot, for where I'm from. A lot of people in my background don't know much about this type of stuff. So I get super excited about teaching about equity, home ownership, investing, and things like that, because it seems like it's a secret to our people, right? And I just want to be able to tell the secret and let them know, hey, anybody can do this. This is not just for, a certain category of people. This is for everybody. It's public knowledge. And it all starts small, right? It starts with doing things like making sure you have a nice budget so your debt don't get overloaded and you have extra money to be able to do things. So it starts small. That's why I kind of started with the debt piece, moved on to the budget. And next we're going to talk about credit. Let me get this screen off. All right, credit. Okay. Credit is where basically you have to pay money back. Okay. If you go get that house, if you go get that car, if you go get a new credit card, you have to pay those things back. And that's what credit come in at, right? So depending on how you pay those things back, they come up with a credit score, right? And we have 3 different credit bureaus that furnish those credit reports for the most part. You got Equifax, you got Experian, you got TransUnion. These 3 credit bureaus are all competitors. They do not work with each other, and they are for-profit organizations, right? So that means they basically pay for these things on your credit report and basically bank on the fact that you may not even check it. So a lot of people, you may not know that a lot of people don't even check their credit report. They don't care. And credit bureaus are constantly making money off having these items on their credit report each month. They're selling them to different creditors. They're selling them to third-party companies and so forth. So if you don't even check your credit report, check it, right? There very well could be a lot of errors on there that you can fix. Credit, when you get your credit score up, that's when you're able to take advantage of some of those investment options, right? If you want to go take out a loan to start trading, right? I don't really recommend that, right? Unless you highly, highly believe in that product. you'll be able to use your credit. With a good credit score, you're able to go borrow money to pay for things that you don't necessarily have the liquidity or the cash right now for. What are credit scores? Credit scores are a numerical digit number, 3-digit number, pretty much ranging. It's all different type of credit scoring models, but they pretty much range from about 500 up until 800. You can go up to an 850 with FICO. So 850 is considered the perfect credit score in the FICO world. And basically, when you look at Credit Karma, Credit Wise, anything that's basically a free service, you're pretty much looking at a Vantage scoring model. A lot of people, it's a misconception that thinks that these items are Credit Karma is the wrong score or false score or not right, but actually it is, because it's a Vantage scoring model, and it doesn't really it doesn't really show you the score that lenders use, which is the FICO score. Not sure if some lenders are, maybe Jordan, you can kind of chime in if you know, but some lenders are leaning more towards the Vantage scoring model for some reason. I did have a lender when my client went to go get pre-qualified for a home, said that they use a Vantage score. That was the first I ever heard. So I guess I'm starting to see some lenders use the Vantage score, but for the most part, you want to make sure you know your FICO score at all times. And I'll drop a link for y'all if y'all need to get y'all FICO score for $1. You'll be able to see all of your FICO scores from each credit bureau, the way the lenders see it for $1. I'll drop that link in a second. Let's see, what all does credit affect? Of course, we know what credit affects. It affects your ability to go get things, right? You know, we don't want to spend $200,000 cash out of our pocket to go buy investment property, right? Having a good credit score allows you to utilize someone else's money to be able to pay for the things that you want, and you pay it back at a later date, right? This helps you be able to use more of your cash to buy more and more assets instead of minimizing all of your cash on one expense, right? And that puts us in a financial hole for the next opportunity that comes. You know, Jordan always posting good things that we need to go do right then and there, right? If you use your cash all the time and not utilize credit, then you won't have the ability to be able to pay for some of those things. Do we have any questions about credit? And I'm going to get y'all that FICO link here in a second. Give me a second. Man, this thing, I ain't even gonna worry about it. All right, key factors of a credit score. 35% of your credit goes by the how you pay your bills back, right? Things that do not report on your credit report are things like utility bills, unless you do that self-service to allow them to report it to your credit report. But utility bills, pretty much just utility bills, your phone bills, cable and things like that do not report on your credit report. So if you missed a couple of payments on those, then it shouldn't reflect your credit score. But anything like a credit card, anything like car payments, house payments, anything like that, the way you pay those things back is 35% of your credit score. 30% is your credit utilization. We're going to talk in a minute on why this is so important, but the way you use credit cards is 30% of your credit score. You always want to keep your credit utilization 30% of the limit or below. So if you have $1,000 credit card limit, you want to keep that card no more than $300 at all times. The moment that it goes above that 30%, the moment your credit scores start decreasing. So always keep your credit cards under 30%. 15% is your credit age. This is what a lot of people don't know. How long you've had your credit is a big contributing factor to your credit score, right? If you've had credit for 20 years and you get your credit clean and then you start adding positive credit, your credit score is going to increase a lot more faster than someone who just started credit. So the longer, the better with credit. 15% of that is your credit age. 10% is credit mix. We're going to talk about that in a second too, but having different types of credit, right? I'm going to tell you about revolving accounts and I'm going to tell you about installment accounts, right? If you only have revolving accounts, it's not going to do you as well as having both different types on your credit report. And the perfect credit mix to have on your credit is to have 3 credit cards, 1 installment account, right? And 1 real estate account. That is the perfect credit mix. If you want to get to an 850 credit score, those people that have an 850 credit score have those things in common. And the last thing is credit inquiries, right? If you have a bunch of credit inquiries on your credit report, some people say inquiries, it's pronounced inquiries. If you have a lot of those, this is 10% of your credit score. So when I say a lot, I'm saying 20 or more, right? Technically, you don't supposed to have no more than 3 to 6 in any 6-month period. But if you have more, that can be 10% of your credit score, clearly just from having a lot of credit inquiries. I do have for those who have a lot of credit inquiries, I do have a sample letter that you guys can download and use for yourself to be able to get those credit inquiries deleted within 30 days. So if you have a question about that, let me know. I'll check the chat. All right, cool. Move that. So these are a couple of easy ways that you can instantly boost your credit score. First thing first, you can just call right now and ask your credit card company right now for a credit increase. Let them know you got a raise on your job. Let them know that you have paid off other debt, and just simply ask for a credit score increase. Make sure that it's not a hard increase so it won't affect your credit score, and most of them do not. But you can literally increase your credit score just by asking for a credit card increase, right? Why? It's because it reduces your credit card utilization, right? That same example, if you had a $1,000 credit card and you're over that $300 limit, let's say you at $500, right? So that's going to negatively affect your credit score because you over that limit. But let's say you have that same $500 balance, but you get $1,000 extra on your credit limit. This creates a bigger cushion. Therefore, now you're only using about 25% of your credit score, which is going to be under that 30%, and that's going to increase your credit score. So simply asking for a credit card increase will help you boost your credit score. Do I have any questions about that? I got you, Kyria. I think on Zoom, are you able to send like a direct message? If you can, send me like a one-on-one message, and I'll make sure I get that to you after I finish this presentation. Okay, I'm gonna move on. The second way is to reduce your credit utilization to under 30%, right? I tell the story all the time. I had a client wanted to buy a house. He came to me, I looked at his credit report. He had no negative items. He just had a high utilization rate. That means he was up to the limit on all of his credit cards. He had a lot of money, but he just didn't know what to do with his credit. I said, hey, Mr. Moss, pay down all of these credit cards under the 30% and then come back to me next month. He took his money and paid off all of his credit cards. In 30 days, his credit score went up 195 points simply from paying down his credit utilization. So if you have high balance on your credit cards that's close to the limit, then pay them under 30% for an instant credit score boost. I promise you, in 30 to 45 days, your credit score is going to jump probably 30 to 45 points or more simply from paying down your credit utilization. If you want to know what that 30% is, just calculate the limit of that credit card and multiply it by 0.30. So that's 0.30. If you want to know for a particular credit card, you'll do that limit. If you want to know for your total credit utilization across all accounts, add up all of the limits on your credit cards, or if you have line of credits, add those up and multiply by 0.30, and that'll tell you the max amount you should always have on your credit cards. Any questions about that? Okay, they're asking about the letter. Okay, I'll make sure I drop that. Curious sent it. Okay. Anybody that need that letter, just send me a direct message. And as soon as I'm done, I'll send you the links. Go ahead and grab that. All right, we don't have any questions about that. Getting a credit card. For those of you who don't have a credit card on your credit report, I know our moms told us not to, but they told us wrong, right? I hate to say it. My mom told me not to too, right? My grandma told me not to get a credit card too. They told us wrong. If you don't have a credit card, You're really capping the amount of how high your credit score can go. Simply get a credit card and you're gonna see your credit score instantly jump because of that credit mix that I was telling you guys about, right? You always want to have a revolving account on your credit report. You always want to have an installment account. A revolving account is anything that fluctuate balances, like credit cards, right? Credit card can be, you know, you can have a $25 minimum payment one month, and it could be $45 the next month. Anything that fluctuates like that is called revolving. Anything that is set, right? Just think about install and set. Anything that is a set amount, like your auto loan payment, it's the same amount every single month. Those are what you call installment accounts. So you want to keep one revolving account and one installment account on your credit report. Open accounts at all times for a good credit mix. And again, that right perfect mix, number 4, that right credit mix, the perfect credit mix is to have 3 revolving accounts. So that can simply be 3 different credit cards, 1 installment account, and that can be a personal loan, or auto loan, anything like that, and 1 real estate account. That can be a mortgage loan, that can be an investment property. If you have one of all of those, that was considered the perfect credit mix. That'll get you on your way to an 850 credit score. Any questions about that? Okay, do lines of credit work the same way? Yes, yes. Lines of credit work the same way as credit card do. They report the same way on your credit report, as it's called a revolving account, right? So when you take out a line of credit, it's gonna have a limit that you've taken. It's gonna have a limit that's available to you, and if you take in, you know, half of that, then that's what's gonna show or reflect on your credit report. So let's say you had a $10,000 credit limit and you took out 5,000. Right, it's going to show that line of credit on there for 10,000, right? And it's going to show a $5,000 balance on there, but that's how much you're taking out. So it works the same exact way. So what's the mix again? Credit card payment, something like an auto loan, the mortgage payment, right? So the mix, right? Just think of revolving and think about installment, right? The mix, you just want to have one of each. So a 1 credit card and 1 loan. And the perfect credit mix is to have 3 credit cards or 3 revolving accounts, 1 loan, and 1 real estate account. And that can be a mortgage. So 3 credit cards, 1 loan, and 1 real estate account for the perfect credit mix. So yes, a credit card payment, something like an auto. Yes, exactly. Yes. Any other questions about that? All right, cool. The next way is to ask for a Goodwill adjustment. I also have a Goodwill adjustment letter as well. So if you had late payments on your credit report, let's just say you've been on time each and every month for 3 years. You caught coronavirus and you fell ill and you got short on bills and you missed the money. They reported a late payment and your credit score went down, right? You're able to request a Goodwill adjustment. And basically my strategy for that is basically saying, hey, I've been making on-time payments all of this time, right? I've recently fell ill, or I recently had a death in my family, or I recently had a divorce, or I recently have whatever reason, make up something, I don't care. And basically use that to your advantage and say, hey, I've been making payments all this time. I had this one traumatic event that happened, and can you please take the late payment off based on that? Right? That can be for a series of payments. So if you miss 3 payments in a row, and outside of that, you've been doing well, then you can utilize this Goodwill adjustment to try to get those deletions of those late payments deleted from off your credit report. And I do have a dispute letter for that as well. I'll drop that in the chat once we get done. Any questions about the Goodwill adjustment? And the last, and probably one of the more easier ways, is to get added as an authorized user. If you have a mom, dad, grandparent, significant other, anybody that doesn't mind adding you as an authorized user on a credit card, ask them to. If you know they have good credit, if you know that they manage their credit card well, which means they have a very low balance and they have no late payments, then all you have to do is literally ask them to add you as an authorized user, and your credit score is going to go up. Easiest trick in the book. And if you don't have anyone in your family, then you can access trade lines, right? Trade lines are available for purchase, and it basically works the same way. You will basically set up to where, I have a vendor that has a lot of trade lines. So you'll basically pay to get on someone else's credit card. This is typically useful for anyone that wants to do a quick purchase, right? So if you know you're going to be in the market to buy a car soon, right, and your credit score is kind of like, 600, it could be a little better, then you can literally go pay for a trade line that's going to stay on your credit report. I think we keep them on there for 90 days, right? So you get a $20,000 limit, 20-year card added on your credit report for 3 months, and it's going to instantly boost your credit. So if you want to go buy a car and buy a house in that 90-day threshold, you're able to go do that, right? That's getting added as an authorized user, one of the easiest tricks in the book to boost your credit score instantly. Any questions about that? I have 15 credit cards. Would it be a good idea to get more? Woo, 15 credit cards. That's a lot. Hopefully you are managing those things well. If you are, kudos, like that's very responsible of you. I've seen people do it. It's nothing wrong with getting more. If you need more, I wouldn't get it if he said, let me borrow one. I wouldn't if I didn't need to, if you have 15 credit cards, I'm sure you probably have an 850 credit score if you're managing them well. And you probably can get anything you want. So I don't even know if it'll make sense to get another credit card, So man, that's good. Shout out to Sherry, man. Sherry got 15 credit cards, paying all of them on time. So if y'all got 1 or 2 and not doing right, and she got 15, something wrong, y'all. Shout out to Sherry, man. Shout out to Sherry. Sounds like the typical American. That's funny. I gotta catch them all. Yeah, man, that's good. Do we have any questions about the authorized user or the Goodwill adjustment? All right, cool. Dennis raises his hand. Y'all drop y'all questions. I'm gonna always come back. Let me go ahead and move on. Home ownership. Did y'all know that lenders reject half of applications they receive to refinance? Right? This is because of credit and DTI issues, of course, but lenders reject about half of every application they get for refinance. I just thought that was cool. That's a hell of a stat right there. About 30% of purchasers who apply for a mortgage are turned down because of their credit score, right? People aren't aware of how important this credit score thing is, right? If you are good with your credit, you're able to get loans like FHA loans to where you don't have to pay but 3.5% down, right? That's 3.5% down. That for a $200,000 house, that's what, $7,000 down, versus having to pay 20% down, So having a good credit score is going to help home ownership really become a reality. And I'm going to try to reduce this, and I'm going to give 10 steps for first-time home buyers. I'm going to fly through those. But this is attainable for everybody, right? It only takes about 2 years. So if you start today, within 2 years, you'll be able to buy a house, right? It all starts with making sure you have a solid budget, working on your credit, and just saving up a little money. And once you have that, right, your job stability is good, you reduce a lot of your debt, it makes the process super, super easy. And Jordan, you're gonna have to tell me how I can get out of this screen and open up another one, bro. Because I don't even know how to do that.
If you're gonna share a new screen, hit that tab that you had at the top, that control tab, hit new share, and then you can click on the next window you want to share.
All right, cool. Y'all give me a second. There we go. Good looking out, bro.
Sure.
Yo. All right, so we're gonna kind of go through 10 things, and we're gonna wrap up on this one because I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some questions. But these are the top things you'll need. And this guide actually is free. So I will drop a link for this. If anybody need this first time home buyer guide, I'll shoot it to you for absolutely free. Me and my business partner, we came up with this way, and it is basically kind of walk anyone that wants to buy a house for the first time through it. Okay. I'm not gonna go in super detail, but if you have questions, I will elaborate if you have questions on it, because this is a pretty extensive guide. All right. So the top things you're gonna need, right? You're gonna need a steady job. Most lenders want to see a year or more consistent work, right? So if you've been with your same job for over a year, you fit this criteria. If you've been jumping around from job to job for quite some time, lenders gonna look at you like a risk. The next thing, you're gonna need a solid credit score. You will hear a lot of people say FHA will take 580 and better. Sometimes they will, but a lot of times 620 or more is what you need. That's the best way, so you can kind of not have to pay those high interest rates or have to fit that strict DTI criteria. So always aim to have at least a 620. I always personally recommend 640 or better, but lenders have collectively said 620 or more can get you through the door. Money saved, right? I recommend a minimum of 10,000. Obviously, that depends on where you are. In Florida here, 10,000 would be good. You may need a little bit more, but now we're able to get closing costs paid. So 10,000 may be okay, but 10,000 is just a starting point. A minimum of 10,000. The reason why I put 10,000 is because they do have down payment assistance grants that some people are eligible for. And like I said, we can get closing costs negotiated for the seller to actually pay the closing costs. So sometimes $10,000 worth. I just had 2 closings the last couple of months to where they didn't pay anything at the closing table. My last client actually got money back at the closing table. That's how I'm negotiating right now. But having $10,000 is essential. Why? Because you're gonna have to pay an earnest deposit, right? This can range anywhere from $500 to $2,000, depending on where you are. In Louisiana and Florida, it's typically 1,000 or 1% of the purchase price. Home inspections typically last anywhere from it's typically anywhere from 300 to 700 bucks. Why you want a home inspection? Because you don't want to get a limit. You don't want to buy a house that's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars in the future, right? You want to make sure you get a home inspection so you'll know exactly what you're paying for. A home appraisal is also included. You have to pay 400 to 600 bucks, depending on which lender you use, right? And this is what you will need to know that your house is worth the amount that you're taking out that loan for. Most lenders will require it because they don't want to lend you a $300,000 mortgage loan for a $150,000 property, right? So they're going to make sure the house is worth what they're lending. And obviously the down payment, right? This can be as little as zero, right? If you take advantage of programs like the USDA loan, right? If you live in a rural area, you're able to get 100% funded loan, which means no down payment. I do have other lenders across the country or regions have programs to where you can get away without paying any down payment if you have a good credit score. Bank of America just released a program for minorities, I think Blacks, Hispanics, and Latinos, to where you don't have to pay a down payment. So there are programs that can protect that down payment, but you got to make sure your credit score is good so you can qualify for those programs. Okay, if you have collections accounts or charged off accounts, it need to be less than $2,000, right? You need to have no late payments within the last 12 months. Lenders do not like late payments, right? Having zero in the last 12 months increases your chances. And the last thing, I put mental preparation for the process, man. Sometimes this home buying process can be a lot. It can be stressful. It causes a lot of anxiety. I manage all of my clients from start to finish, so I reduce that anxiety a lot, but still it's new. It's one of the biggest purchases of your life. It may be a big investment that you're banking on. It will start to feeling a little overwhelming, but you have to be mentally prepared to go through this process, but we'll guide you through it all. And I kind of went in detail. I'll stop and answer a few questions, but I kind of went into detail about all of those different spots. So I'm going to kind of briefly go through those in a second. Let me check the questions first. Yes. Okay. Someone told me to send them the first time home buyer guide. Yep, I'll send that. Do you recommend debt relief programs for people in a lot of debt, mainly newer credit card versus older ones? Would that boost average credit age to get rid of newer cards? So debt relief programs pretty much consolidate your debt and then you pay them monthly. It just depends, right? If you can't afford it, then sure. That's kind of gonna decrease your credit score in a way, because now if those credit cards, you got to keep those credit cards open, is what I'm trying to say. So if they force those credit cards to close, then you're gonna lose all of that credit age for all of those accounts, and then you're gonna have that new account on there. So while it will help because it's going to show a fully mature credit card being paid off, but that closed account is going to actually kind of hurt you, because you close the credit card, it's going to hurt your credit utilization. So if you do that, make sure after the debt relief program pays that debt, that your credit cards are able to still stay open. Keep the newer cards, right? Don't close the newer cards. I mean, they're new now, but the more the merrier, right? Even though it's new now, we're going to think about the future. After you've had that car a year, after you have that card a year, that it gets better. 2 years, it gets better, and it keeps going. So I don't necessarily want you to focus on closing newer cards for the debt relief program. The only way I would do the debt relief program is I honestly, I can't afford these monthly payments each month. That's the legit only way I would do or take advantage of a debt relief program. So I guess to answer your question, it shouldn't have anything to do with whether the card is new or not. It's just, hey, if you can afford these payments, don't do that debt relief program. All right, cool. Let me move on. We talked about maintaining a job history, so I'm not going to elaborate there. Monitor your credit score closely. A lot of people just don't look at their credit report. Actually, I can drop this link here since I just didn't want to use that big link. Let me do this. I got y'all. Give me a second. I'll drop my score IQ. This is the $1. I hate this thing. Oh. Okay. Where is the chat? So this is a way you can get your dollar. You can get a credit score for $1. Your FICO score with all three bureaus, the full report for $1. Just go in and cancel the trial after you get it. But you can get literally what the lenders see for $1 with that link. So I suggest everybody to just go see what their FICO score is. So they'll just know, because a lot of people don't do that. Like, they literally don't know what their credit score is. And a lot of times, once you know what's on your credit score and you put it in the hands of the right credit expert, they can wipe a lot of that credit off, and you can be right there in the front, in the driver's seat to buy a home. I just talked to somebody today that thought they had the worst credit and they only had a couple of negative things. I'm going to have those things deleted in 3 months, and she's going to be right where she needs to be to buy a house instantly. And she would have never known that had she not clicked that link and seen exactly what her FICO score is. Cool. Next, file your taxes correctly. Ooh, this is a big one. All right. If you using like you using a business on your taxes, right? And you're writing off all of your income, when the lenders see it, they're going to deny you, because it looks like all of the money that you're making, you have expenses for. Now, this does help you get a good tax return in some cases, but what's the use of a $5,000, $6,000 tax return check when you can't even buy a house, right? So if you know you're going to buy a house within the next 2-3 years, file your taxes correctly, right? It's not going to hurt to miss out on that extra couple of $1,000s on taxes, right? That's really a trick, right? They want you to do that so you can't take advantage of buying houses and investing in property. So make sure you file your taxes correctly. Next is monitoring your DTI. And your DTI is short for debt to income ratio, right? So lenders are going to look at how much debt you have, and they're going to compare it to your income, right? And that ratio, that number that they get is that's what's going to depend on if they qualify you with that loan. So they're going to look at your credit score first, and then they're going to look at your DTI to see how much you can buy, right? This is how you get approved for a $400,000, $500,000 budget, by having a good DTI ratio. right? You can kind of figure out your DTI by talking to a mortgage lender. Let me know if you need a mortgage lender. I can send you a few that I like to have those programs, but they'll basically look at all of the debt on your credit report. So they're not going to look at the total balance. They're going to look at how much you're paying every month. So if you have a $500 auto loan, if you have a $100 personal loan, if you have 4 credit cards with a $50 minimum payment, because that's the amount that they look at with credit cards, is that minimum payment. They're going to add all of those payments up, and they're going to take that number and they're going to divide it by your income, and whatever ratio that comes out to, they're going to fit it into their formula, and that's what they're going to use to qualify you. The lowest I've seen is 36% or less. Those are really for those high conventional loans. I think FHA, and Jordan, you can hop in if you want, but I think FHA is more so around the 56, 58% debt to income ratio. Any questions about that? All right, cool. Next one is manage your debt effectively, man. Like making sure that you're paying your bills on time. That one missed payment can throw you off for a year or two from buying a house. Keeping a low credit card balance, right? Under that 30% threshold is what's going to help your credit score stay high. So making sure you manage your debt that you already have effectively, because once you go to apply for that loan, those are the things that the lender is going to look at. When the underwriter review your file, they're going to look at how you manage the debt that you already have in order to qualify you for what you're applying for. And those of you that get this guide, I do have like a debt chart that you can download, and it'll basically, you can put in your credit cards in there, you can put in the balance, you can put in the limit, and it'll calculate to you what your utilization is and how much you need to pay to get it under 30%. So that's all of that is free in this guide. This guide is free, and this is in there as well. All you got to do is click on it. Next step is save. Obviously, we talked about the down payment, inspection, appraisal, and closing costs. You want to save, you know, throw in $100 a paycheck. You know, if you can throw in a little bit more, throw that in an account that you don't touch to save up for that down payment. You can take a first-time home buyer class. Depending on where you are, we can set you up with home buyer classes in the area to be able to kind of walk you through the phases of a home buying process step by step, right? If you work with me, if I'm helping you, if I'm your agent, then I always, for every step of the process, I always have a conversation to kind of let you know what to expect. You'll get a full detailed email, and you'll also get a phone conversation about every step as we go through it. And in the beginning, I'll walk you through how it is going to go throughout the whole process. So take a first-time home buyer class if you have absolutely zero knowledge on what it takes or what all is included in buying a house. Home buyer grants, right? Once you get this guide, you'll be able to click here and you'll find grants in your state. Again, I do have a partnership with lenders across the country that has no down payment loans depending on your credit score. So if you're interested in those things, let me know personally and I'll set you up. Otherwise, you can click on here and it'll show you different grants in your state, right, that you can take advantage of. A lot of these require decent credit scores and an income limit. So be aware of that as you look through those grants. Learn about mortgages. I'm gonna briefly go through a few of these different types of mortgages, but the best thing to do is always talk to the actual professional and they'll break down what a lot of these mean. The most traditional type of loan that's been around the longest is a conventional loan, right? These require 620 or better credit score, and the down payments range from 3%, but most times these are a 20% loan. You have to pay 20% down in a lot of cases. They do have special ones for first-time home buyers that do 3% or 5%. FHA loans, right? They require, here again, it says 580, but these are 3.5% down. So this is mostly used with first-time home buyers. It's backed by the government, and it allows you to kind of go in with a lower credit score and lower money to put down. FHA loans are the way to go. USDA RD loans, we talked about it a little earlier. These require 640 or better. Super strict DTI requirement, but the down payments are nothing, right? You do not have a down payment if you qualify for the USDA loans. And VA loans, if you have, or you're in the military, if you have access to a VA certificate, these are also no down payment, and they take as low as a 580 credit score. So if you're in the military, I have a few VA lenders that I like to use that has those zero down payment loans. So let me know if you're looking for that. And the last step is choosing the right real estate agent. I'm not trying to brag on myself at all, but if you ask any of my clients, you need to, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, you need to get an agent that's going to take their time with you, that's going to walk you through the process, that's going to treat you like any question is a good question. No question is a dumb question. So make sure you do thorough research as you look for your real estate agents. Like I said, I do business here in Florida, and Louisiana, and Mississippi, but I have partnerships with well-connected, well-respected agents all over. So let me know and I can find you someone that I trust. But make sure it's someone that works with first-time home buyers so they won't try to shun some of your questions, because this is a scary process, right? A lot of us, this is going to be the biggest purchase that we ever make, right? So we want to make sure we're making it with the right, the right mindset, the right knowledge, right? We want to make sure we're aware of everything in this process, right? So make sure you take your time when you choose a real estate agent. Just because somebody is your family doesn't mean they're a good real estate agent. At the end of the day, this is your money on the line. This is your asset. This is your business. This is your investment. Whatever it is, this is all yours. So make sure you do your due diligence as you choose your real estate agent. Right, and that's pretty much that it. And I kind of went through in this guide, for those of you who downloaded, I kind of broke it down, the whole process in 10 steps, from the home searching, offering, negotiating, and also a couple of do's and don'ts. And I got a glossary here at the end for common real estate terms that you may not know. Right. So I spent a lot of time doing this. I'm here for my people. I want to see my people be great. I want to see my people start investing in real estate, start managing their money effectively, getting these high credit scores so we can have the nicer and finer things, right? That stuff has our name all over it, right? All it takes is a few steps today and a solid plan, and we can have any of those things. We can save up as the amount of money that we want. We can start any new business when we have that credit and we start getting those assets rolling in. And I'm gonna check the questions. Okay, any way to liquidate credit cards without using cash advance? I know the shopping trick. Man, the easiest way to liquidate credit card debt, bro, is definitely don't do a cash advance, because that's taking a loan to pay off another loan. I would take advantage of, I think somebody mentioned balance transfers earlier. I personally did that before. If you run into a credit card that's offering a balance transfer 0% introductory rate for 24 months, hop on that. Make sure you can pay that balance off in that allotted time. But those are the things that I would use to liquidate credit card debt. Sorry. Another way is to do a consolidated with the loan, right? So if you have a credit union, I've done this before as well, to where you go get a loan that's basically going to pay for all of those credit cards, and you lump all of them up into one payment. Sometimes this works, right? Because now in my case, I had a much lower monthly payment. All of my credit cards got freed up instantly. I had a much lower monthly payments by lumping all of them up into one loan. So I basically took out a loan and paid off the balance of all of those credit cards and just focused on paying that one loan each month to open up my credit cards. So those are the two ways that I suggest liquidating credit card debt, right? That's the only way, legal way, that I know that you can do it without, doing a cash advance or things like that. how to do it or use PayPal or someone pay the fees that's smaller than cash advance. Or use PayPal or someone and pay the fees that's smaller than the cash advance. Yeah, see, I mean, those are some things. I mean, yeah, you can do that, but the easiest way is to use that debt snowball method, or to get like a debt consolidation loan to pay them off, things like that. Those are safer ways. Because besides, once you do that debt consolidation loan that I just mentioned, then you're boosting your credit, because now your credit utilization is going away, right? And then you're making on-time payment on this new loan that you have, right? So both of those things are gonna positively affect your credit score while you're getting rid of the credit card debt and saving each month on payment. So that's what I recommend. Secondary home, 10% down through most lenders. Yes. I think Jordan was kind of commenting on when I was talking about how much you have to pay down for different types of loans. So if you buy a secondary home, you can get 10% down, right? 10%, 15, 20, it ranges, but you can get as low as 10% down for your secondary homes. Appreciate that, Matthew, man. I'm passionate about this stuff, bro. I love it, man. Y'all follow me on Instagram, Team D Saul, man. I'm always giving out a lot of credit game, real estate game, mental health game. I'm big in that space. So oh man, I think I sent that to the wrong person. I'm sorry, y'all. Everyone, I'm gonna drop my IG for y'all to go follow me. But that's what I do it for, Matthew. I appreciate you acknowledging that. Robert, what the credit rate and down payments for rental property and DTI? Your DTI, okay, what's the credit rate for rental property? So it's pretty much gonna have some of the similar guidelines. You're gonna pretty much, for rental property, you pretty much gonna have to take out a conventional loan, because FHA is, it depends. So if you're buying a rental property, because some rental properties you can live in and rent out the other sides, you can use a FHA loan for that. If you're going for up to 4 units, so you can stay in one unit and you can rent out the other 3 units in one property, you can use the FHA. And again, that's the lowest 580, 620, and the DTI is like high 50% range, somewhere in there. For conventional loans, it's going to be a higher credit score, higher down payment, right? And we just mentioned for a rental property like a secondary home, you can get as low as 10% down on those, and the credit score is pretty much going to be that same kind of requirement. And the DTI. What credit union was that? It was Explore Federal Credit Union. It was in New Orleans, so I'm not sure if that's in your state, but it was Explore X, not an EX, it's XPLORE Federal Credit Union. So check it out, see if it's in your state. Dennis, if you don't qualify for any of the FHA down payment assistance grants, would it be wise to go conventional if you don't want to put down 20%? In addition, PMI stays on the lifelong loan for FHA versus conventional, PMI falling off. Exactly, brother. Yeah, exactly. So sometimes, some people can't afford to pay for a conventional loan, right? So yes, in that case, it would be smarter. I think also with FHA, it includes a PIM, or no, a MIP, a mortgage insurance premium, including the PMI. Dennis, if you are in the market right now, I know lenders that do conventional style loans with FHA guidelines with no PMI period. So, and you don't have a down payment if you have a high credit score. So good point, but it's they have programs that kind of like dib and dab in both now, right? They're getting very creative with these programs out there. So that's an excellent point. In certain cases, it's better to get a conventional loan because PMI drops off after you get to a 80% loan to value ratio, which means you get to 20% equity in your loan, right? So good point. Yes, can you put the home buyers link in the chat? Let me go ahead and do that now. Yeah, let me go ahead and do this first time home buyer guide. Give me a second, y'all. I gotta go to my links.
Give me a second, y'all. I gotta find it.
Then it'll fall off automatically at 78% LTV, but you can request it to get dropped off at 80%, and they'll get dropped off for your conventional loan. And if y'all learning something, if y'all liking this, put some love in the chat, please, for my boy. Because I
Yeah,
know, man, especially with the late notice too. I just been hitting folks up like, yo.
you know, all good, bro. You know, I told you anything you need, bro. I got you, bro. Let me get people this link though. So it's a couple of links. Let's see. First time home buyer guys, and yeah, I gotta excuse me, bro. It was last minute, but there we go. And it's free. Used to have all this. Oh, you know what? I got it right here. I'm tripping.
Ethel, yeah, you do have to refinance to get your PMI dropped off. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have to be like a certain cash out or a rate and term. You could switch loan packages. You could refinance any type of way and get the mortgage insurance removed.
Well, I said unable to take payment. I don't have a payment for that. I'm gonna just send y'all this link right here. Just drop it in here for y'all. Just on my way. Yeah, this is the Google Doc. I don't know what's going on with the other link, but I'm gonna drop it in the chat here. So this is the first time home buyer guide. Let me show y'all the dispute letters. So here are the dispute letters that I was telling y'all about. And actually the inquiry removal is $9.99. So I got all of them on sale right now. Ain't number $10. So here y'all go for those are the dispute letters. So I have a bunch of them in there. Pay for delete. You got Goodwill adjustment in there. I got a car repo removal kit. You got inquiry removal. You got, pretty much any letter that you can think of. All the letters that I use with my clients over the years, I just kind of put them out there for sale because a lot of people don't want to pay monthly for credit repair. So I basically just put together the letters for you. All of them are already pre-formatted. So the only thing you have to go in there is put in your name, your address, your social security number, right? Send it certified, right? Once you download the letters, just put in your information. You'll read through it and kind of tailor it towards you a little bit. It's not much you'll have to change, and send the letter certified. Go to the post office and tell them I want a certified letter. I want to send it certified, right? How this helps is because you get a tracking number, right? Credit bureaus have 30 days to respond to your dispute, right? If you send out that letter, you make a copy of your letters, and I put the instructions with all of those templates on how to do this. So you're basically going to send that letter out. You're going to make a copy of that letter for proof. And now you got a tracking number to track. So if they don't respond in 30 days, right, you got a tracking number to say, hey, I sent this out to you on this day. And sometimes it'll show when they received it. So if you pay for for them to sign once they receive it, they have to sign once they get it. So it'll show once you put in that tracking number on USPS.com, it shows you, hey, this person received this letter at this day, and you can track it every day. And once it hit 30 days and they haven't responded, that's all you need to get everything deleted. So I put that link in there for y'all to just kind of look through. Any letter that y'all need is there. You download it. I'll email it directly to you. And from there, man, get all of those accounts deleted. I actually have a full do-it-yourself credit repair kit too. If y'all interested in that, let me know. It's also all on that link. If y'all have any other questions about credit, budgeting, debt, or buying a house, man, now is the time, man. I got nothing but time to answer any and all questions as I wrap up. And make sure y'all go follow me on Instagram, Team D Saul. Let me move this. Yo, y'all go follow me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. That's Team D Saul. You join the Money Train Facebook group for y'all who are on Facebook to be able to get access. Jordan is going to come in there pretty soon, bro? Be able to just give everyday tips on financial gains, right? Whether that's stock, credit, money management, real estate, any of that, man, it goes down in the Money Train Facebook group. So join that group. Let's see if I missed any questions. He said, why would you have to refinance? Oh, y'all having a conversation? Let me just say it will fall off. Time and where it's going. Okay. Thank you. Can you send me the info about the conventional loan criteria using FHA guideline? Hey, Dennis, send me a direct message, bro. I'm gonna send you send me your email address and I'll send you the flyer. And let me know which state you're in so I can make sure that it's in there. Because I think it's 48 states, so it's 2 states that is not available. So I'm sure you got one of those states, and I'll give you more info on that. Okay, Sean said, are townhouses a good investment when the primary goal is good return on investment? I would like to own several rental properties without the inconvenience of maintenance or having on-site. Yeah, so you need a property management, bro. Townhouses are good investments. I don't know where you stay at, but I just most recently left from an area in Atlanta, Lithonia. I don't know if anybody in here from the area, but Lithonia is one of the growing areas in Atlanta, right? And there are nothing but townhouses being built, right? You're able to buy them for 200, 25 on down for a good 3-bedroom, and you're able to rent it for like $1,700 a month. You know what I mean? So townhouses are a good investment depending on where you are. And if you don't want the inconvenience of all that maintenance, bro, you're gonna have to hire a property management. That's funny. You right though. That's the Atlanta area. That's what I said. Don't shoot me. But bro, property management, right? There are companies that handle all of that for you. They take rent payments. If the grass need cut, they set all of that up. If they have, bathroom trouble, plumbing issues, all of that, you hire a property management company, and the property management will just take a percentage of the rent every month to be able to do that. In Louisiana, property managers will only charge 10%. So for every $1,000 rent, we pay the property managers $100, and they'll take care of all of that, right? I don't suggest doing that right off because you want to be hands-on with your investments at first to get a good feel of how this thing go. But as you get more and more properties, hell yes, get a property management company to be able to take that so you can go do more stuff, right? That's leverage, right? Always pay for that leverage to make it convenient for your day-to-day. She said, what credit union did you use to put them all into one payment? That was Explore Federal Credit Union. That was in Louisiana. I'm not sure where all they are, but any credit union pretty much take. The reason why I went with credit unions is because typically credit unions have low rates, right? And if you're a member there, they'll pretty much approve you as long as you got a decent credit score. But they always have some of the lower rates in the market, right? We want to get the lowest rate so we can make sure our payments isn't as high as keeping all of those credit cards open. Not open, but just paying the credit card balances. We got to make sure that once you have that new loan, that the total payment of that new loan is less than the total amount of payments on all of the credit cards that you consolidate. Okay, I think Virginia is a state, bro. I got you. I got you. According to the song, that's not Atlanta. You're right. That's definitely not Fulton County. But hey, it's the Atlanta area. So if you live in the Atlanta area, it's a good way to still be in the area and invest into the area without paying $500,000 like you're gonna pay in Atlanta. Thank you. Our management company fees cheaper than HOA fees. That's kind of I mean, it just depends. So some HOA fees, I sell property and it'd be like $50 a year. And some be like $2,500 a year. So I can't really answer that question because that depends. But typically property management company is gonna be around 10 to 20% of how much the rent is. So it's kind of not a upfront expense. It's basically what they pick because they're gonna be collecting the rent anyway, right? So they're just gonna take their fee out of the rent. So kind of not paying for it out of your own pocket, you're paying for it with the rent. So just reach out to property management and see how that fit into your budget. You know what I mean? Oh, she said she was just joking. Plug the Facebook link in here, please. Okay, yeah, I'll drop that Money Train Facebook group for y'all. Make sure. Dennis, I'm gonna email you one-on-one one of those brochures after I'm done here, bro. I got you. Okay, that's the question. How you feel about real estate investment trust? Super good idea, man. This is a way for you to kind of go in with people that, you know, especially if you're a new investor, right? Do your research on what all that includes in that trust. But lumping your money, putting it with a trust with other investors, man. I mean, that's a good idea, man. So many different ways to get into real estate. So many different ways to kind of come up with capital to get into real estate. You can do private funding, you can do hard money lending, you could manage just so many different ways. What I presented to the people was just an easy way that all you have to do is have a certain credit score and money saved to do it. But yeah, man, I feel good about any of those ways. You know, when you look up and research all of these different ways, just pick the one that fits you best. You know what I'm saying? Like your income, credit, money saved is different from the next person. So just do your research. Biggerpockets.com is I'm gonna drop this in here. Biggerpockets.com is an excellent real estate resource center. It have podcasts, it has like little guides that you could just kind of look at for investors, pretty much for investors. It kind of, you know, if you want like to fix and flip, if you want to buy and hold, like all of those different things, it'll kind of walk you through what would make more sense for you, right? So many different ways to hop into real estate, and there's so many ways to get lost. Find your way and stick to that one way and just keep working it, man. Keep working it. And it's easy to build wealth, right? Have a goal to buy one property a year. And if you get one property a year that paying you $1,000 a month in cash flow, after 10 years, you're getting $10,000 a month that you're not even looking at, right? Take it one step at a time, start building little assets here and there. And before you know it, you're going to be staring generational wealth right in the eye. And it's super easy. You just got to take small, simple steps that start today. Cool, man. So if y'all don't have any more questions, man, I'm gonna respond to a couple of those direct messages. I'll hop on and watch y'all for a while. Jordan, bro, appreciate you for having me. Let me stop my share. Appreciate you for having me, boss. Anytime you need me, dog, I'm glad to do events like this. I'm passionate about this stuff. I want to see all participants on this Zoom right here win in life, bro. Like this is we came here to create a good life. We didn't come here to be bogged down with stress and be broke, right? Let's make this bread. Let's hop into real estate. Let's get these 800 credit scores. Let's start trading. Let's start doing it all. Let's start making that bread because we deserve all that.
So appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you coming.
That's my
in.
girl, Deshauna, man. What's up, Deshauna? Jordan introduced us and we followed each other, man. What's up, my peeps, man? See if anybody else on here I know.
I just called Deshauna in the middle of yours and was like, yo, we on this 24-hour Zoom. I like, look, we got 2 slots open. Can you go on real quick? She was like, what? I was like, yeah, just let me know if you can. It's cool,
Anything for you, Jordan. We pulled it together in 5 minutes.
Appreciate it. She got the whole PowerPoints ready. I said, oh, love y'all, man. But yeah, D, bro, appreciate you, D Saul. And I got you the same way, bro. So that was dope, and we gonna hit that